Hello and welcome to another episode of Ukversus with myself, Brett Pendragon, and I'm once again joined by Richard Plummer. We did try and get another guest on this week, but understandably we've had a lot of people busy, and we're here to talk about this week in the world of UVS. How have you been, Richard?
Yeah, I'm all good. I'm a little under the weather. I think I've got some sort of throat infection or something. You may tell I'm a little bit croaky. But yeah, no, other than that, I'm pretty good. Obviously, quite jealous of everyone opening all their Jetburn product and watching all that.
It's still in Chicago. It's on its way.
Yeah, so yeah, hopefully we should be getting some for the channel to share with you guys and sort of show you all the new shininess. I mean, obviously, I was quite probably down on the new framing and stuff, but certainly sort of seeing everyone open all the product, it does look really cool.
Yeah.
And obviously there's lots of cool cards in there, so yeah, very excited to sort of open some of that stuff.
How are you feeling about the new distribution pattern? We've only seen a few people open it, but it seems to be the running trend that you're guaranteed one XR character as well as an alternate character in every box.
Yeah, I mean that we can. So in terms of sort of, I guess the plan for this evening, so we'll go over news. So that's sort of the stuff from all those box openings, and sort of some of the good bits and some of the less good bits, I guess. Obviously we've got HLC pricing that's announced and sort of side events and a lot of details for that, so we can go over that. I think they're the two main things, and then sort of the main thing for this evening is to sort of go over like a pre-release prep, sort of pre-release primer, and just our initial thoughts going into it, right?
Yeah, cards that at pre-release we'll be looking at, hopefully trying to pick up and play. But yeah, just as you were talking about the product opening, I thought that'd be a good chance to get in there with the fact they've added an additional XR in the character slot, which seems quite interesting.
Yeah. Obviously, there's been no confirmations or anything from UVS Games. Certainly, it looks like people are getting 6 to 7 URs in a box. Like a lot, I think Andrew opened 2 boxes on his stream, and I think both of his had 7 in it. I think I've had 6. So, you know, if you know the number of URs in the box is trending a little higher, then that's always a good thing. And yeah, I wasn't sure whether they just upped the XRs. Looks like Brad is taking some child aggro. Yeah, so I didn't know, sort of looking from those openings, sort of from a pattern perspective, whether it was you got an extra XR, so it went up from 4 to 5. It used to be you got 4 plus the box topper in, like, the sealed thing that, you know, if anyone's got any of those lying around, just go speak to Kyle Jacobitz, who collects those. But then they obviously removed that for set 5.
Yeah, set 5 you don't get any box topper because there was Violent Assault in set 4.
And so set 5 they removed the box topper, but it was still an average of 4 per box. It looks like there's an average of 5 per box now, but one of those looks to be a guaranteed character XR.
Yeah.
Again, I say guaranteed very loosely.
Just go with the UVS phrasing of on average.
Yes. And I think it's a separate slot, because I'm certain at least one of the boxes who opened, there was an XR normal card and an XR character in the same pack. So it would suggest they are.
I think the way Andrew put it is it replaces your character slot when you get the XR character.
Yes. So I don't think that is effectively counted towards your 4 XRs or 4 or 5 XRs, however many in a box. So it looks like that is an extra one. Again, that's really cool. People love their XR characters, so having like a guaranteed one per box is a good thing.
Kyle must, as we were speaking about it before, Kyle must be very happy that sealed XRs are technically back with the pre-release kits.
Yeah, so obviously people are going to get their sealed characters. I'm sure Carl will want to pick those up.
No, an alternate art character or a sealed XR.
Yeah. So you get either an XR or an alternate art, right? So yeah, again, it's only ever going to be the characters, but again, it's another thing that you can add to his collection. So yeah, like the product seems really cool. Obviously, they have, taking. Obviously, it's been fantastic. UBS Games sending out all this stuff again. Really happy that they're hopefully sending us some stuff to open for you guys on the channel. Like really cool of them. There have been some downsides. Well, I say downsides, some wrinkles. Obviously, they put a news article up on their site about some printing errors. Most of them are fairly minor. Let me just grab what it is on screen.
So the back side of the product for the starter deck for Chaco should read 4 quick responses. It should read 3 quirk expertise, and it should be 2 0 gravity.
Okay, so that's minor, right?
Yeah.
That's just like a typo on the back of the box. It doesn't affect the product at all.
The main things are very minor. So like, Take to the Skies is missing the mill reminder text.
More power, we'll get to in a second. Kamui Wood's missing the +2, the point, the dot, the 2 dot. It's awkward, but everyone knows it's Kamui Wood 2, right? So
Kamui 2 and Mountain Lady 2 missing the dot 2 only really matters up until you Hakusho. Then it makes no difference.
Because the other 2 rotate out anyway. But yeah, it doesn't really matter. Tongue capture, reminder text, Queen Beam printed with the wrong number. Again, a very minor thing, doesn't really matter. Rabbit Kick, missing the reminder text, very minor. Fiery Vengeance, SR instead of XRSR. I saw this come up on, I can't remember the guy's name who did this box opening and opened a Fiery Vengeance and also opened an actual XRSR. And he's saying, oh, look, I've got an XRSR. And I'm still looking there thinking, it doesn't have any kanji on it. Is that really nice XRSR? And obviously he was reading it from the bottom, XRSR, and then realised that actually, no, that was just his SR for the box. And it's a misprint.
Yeah, for me, the 2 biggest ones, although you said it wasn't for you, is the missing reminder text for Deadlock Stun 2 on Rabbit Kick, and the block for it modifier be missing on More Power.
The More Power is the big one. Yeah. So with the Deadlock Stun 2 reminder text, like that's just, is it just the case of it doesn't have the reminder text, or doesn't tell you what Deadlock Stun 2 does?
Yeah, so it basically is missing the Deadlock Stun 2 in the text box saying what it does. But with the positioning of the new symbols and the new keywords, it's something you could overlook. That reminder text could remind you that it has Stun 2.
Yeah.
So it's a pedantic issue, but it's not as big as the block modifier just being missing.
Yeah, and that's one people are just going to have to remember. I can't even remember what More Power does and whether it's something that's actually going to see play. Because obviously, if it becomes,
I think it's a HUD card, so it might see some play.
Let me have a look. So it's the foundation. If your character's the name you try players can't get minus or difficulty. Okay.
Form commit your next attack with printed difficulty of 5 or greater against -2. Deadlock enhance flip.
Honestly, it might just be a case of like it's a taunt card, so maybe Kami wants to play it.
It could see play in Nomu 1 though as well.
It could. Against 2-5, do you want a form commit -2 difficulty with a deadlock on it? I don't even know if. So it might not be a big deal. Like it might be one of those cards that doesn't see play.
It'll probably see sealed play though, which if it comes up in sealed, be a big issue.
Obviously, it's going to affect pre-releases. People are going to have to remember that is a 2 mid, and it's a nice, easy, reasonable one to remember. It's a 2 mid. So yeah, that's kind of awkward. There are some other issues we've come across that aren't on this statement from UBS Games. So there's a couple of things. So on ultra rares, I don't know if it's every single one, but certainly on a bunch of the ultra rares we've seen, there is a misalignment on the symbols. I think it's basically everything on the bottom bar. So they're just kind of like the effectively the silver border foiling is slightly out of alignment with like where the underneath, because obviously they're printed in layers, right? When these cards they're sort of printed in layers, so the symbols are sort of slightly misaligned. So they've almost got like a white halo around them, and I think some of the other stuff is also slightly misaligned. I've noticed just looking at the cards in terms of like the centering seems for quite often a lot of them, and then there are actual miscuts.
Oh yeah, there's a whole chain of miscuts.
Characters where they were just kind of almost, because obviously if you don't know, cards are printed in sheets, and then you've got big machines to cut them, right? So if one of those sheets kind of gets out of sync, then it's chopped off the top, I don't know, centimeter of one character, and it's on the bottom of the next character, and it's kind of shifted all the way that way. I did put something in, I think, in Andrew's Discord saying tinfoil hat theory. They deliberately did this because there are actually a subset of collectors in games. Certainly, I know in Magic, it's a thing where people actually love these sorts of miscuts and collecting them. So, draw more collectors in, put these misprints out there, but that probably isn't the case.
I think when they were actually put up in the Discord, someone was, if people have these significant cuts, contact me, I will get them off you.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, again, it's not a huge playability perspective, but they certainly fit. And there's a whole bunch of little things, right? Again, I've not seen.
There was another one from Andrews of duplicate commons being right behind each other.
Yeah. So what is it? Where's the league handler, like unique? The unique keyword is in white, not blue, which it should be because it's like a static thingy, right? So there feels to be a few like quality control issues going on here. I don't know, but obviously, UVS games are well aware of these and hopefully putting things in place to stop these things happening.
Yeah, I mean, given the...
It's unfortunate when you've got this new really cool product with their new art design, new branding, and like the packaging looks really cool. Like I know some people aren't a fan of the orange sort of flash on everything, but I think it's quite cool. Like on all the packaging, the Ukversus stuff. I think it's quite nice and clean, actually.
Yeah, but I mean, going from the Gen Con promos, which everyone hated, to the national promos, which was a big step up, and then we got the alt art cards with a few typos, such as Punch of Slam. So
has anyone actually pulled the Mirio and checked that? That is on the Mirio, isn't it? And checked in case on the printed version of the card.
I haven't actually checked it, but it was on like the image that was out there. Hopefully they got it fixed. But yeah, it seems to be like some transitional issues between going as the new cards come out, but hopefully that is getting fixed and UVS are going to be on top of it as we move forward, because we've got the Challenger decks and we've got Yu Hakusho, as well as the HLC promos coming up, and printing errors on HLC promos would be an absolute nightmare.
Yeah. I think when the initial thing was revealed, someone noticed a typo on one of them or a printing error on one of them. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was on Hawks or something. There was an issue.
On Hawks, you say?
Yeah, when the initial post went up before it got taken down.
Oh, the post we don't speak of. Okay.
Yes, the post that didn't exist. I think there was something on there, but yeah, the card duplications. Like again, that's just I believe that UVS Games sort of swapped printing from Japanese printers to I think US printers, so that may be part of the quality control issues at some point. I know, the commons being together, that's just a collation thing that just sometimes happens. It's not like the end of the world.
Yeah.
I know the other weird thing I saw when I watched David's video, Let's Talk UBS, his box opening. He opened a pack without a single attack in it.
Ooh.
In his pre-release box, which would have been really rough if you're playing a pre-release like that, because attacks can be a bit key to building your steel deck. So
Yeah, but it is.
It might have just been a 1 in a million thing, and just
Yes.
sometimes random is random, right? And sometimes that might happen.
That's true randomness, isn't it?
Yeah, it shouldn't, but like, yeah, that might have just been a 1 in a million thing. We don't know. But yeah, like it's unfortunate that there's this stuff to talk about because it sort of does detract from this really cool new release, all these new cool cards everyone wants to play. Yeah, I mean, I've been sort of brewing with Shoto 4 because I realised that both He's on Fire and Prominence Burn does have the ranged keyword. So I've been trying to do something with that. And also, Flash Fire Fist Hellspider has both the Fury and Ranged keywords as the Providence Burn, and so does Nitro Explosion, Fury and Ranged.
I know the OC boys have been testing out Endeavour 3. I know Andrew Holder's been all in on the Ryuk all just absolute nonsense deck.
Yeah. Obviously, in theory, we've got a ban restricted list coming this Tuesday, right? Or Monday?
Yeah, so on Tuesday we'll have a ban restricted list. Then the Tuesday after the webcam event, there's another opportunity, and then the Tuesday after is it the Tuesday after? I think it's either the Tuesday after or the Tuesday before the last webcam event will be.
I would not be surprised to see Catchy Wooders go this Tuesday. I don't think anyone would complain if they go already.
The Tuesday before, I could see a ban list hitting this Tuesday, and it being used as a sort of like a testing ground and waiting for the webcam event and seeing what pops up there and seeing if they need to unban anything or if they need to add anything to it.
I think Capture might go this Tuesday. I don't know if they'll be doing anything else, but I think there's a reasonable chance Capture goes on Tuesday. We'll see, but I think it does the most degenerate things, right? Like a lot of the other stuff is more like it's overtuned and it's almost too good. Like, so for example, I was having this discussion actually with someone at my locals on Thursday about they opened, I believe, we were talking about Frog Lashing, right? Frog Lashing is on the ban list, and I think it should be on the ban list. It's very, very good. And they were like, isn't this just worse than Repeated? And I'm like, probably not, but like they're probably not too far apart. So, you know, again, you could argue Repeated should on there. I don't see them banning Repeated. But
I don't think Repeated gets touched until, if it does get touched, it doesn't get touched till January.
Maybe
because there's been one punch added on the life symbol and the void symbol in this entirety of Jetburn.
Yeah, it might just be the format kind of moves away from punch packages and does different things because it's like the new stuff. We don't know, but I think I would not be surprised if the ban restricted list this Tuesday was just Capture goes and we've got some other stuff on the watch list for now. That'll be my prediction for it. Anyway.
I'm not expecting anything now. I'm not expecting anything in December. I'm expecting the ban list to hit January. I'm expecting them to use December's webcam event to find out what people are playing, to find out what's having these interesting interactions. Change the ban list, do the ban list on January, to then give us 1 month for the HLC to go, this is what you're playing with.
Maybe. I think Capture's done enough to justify itself on there already, and I think Ryukyu's going to push over the edge of anything else.
Yeah, Ryukyu can do some very fun stuff, but it has to be demonstrated. They need the data to justify it.
It's just degenerate. So, yeah, I suspect Capture will go. We'll see. But, yeah, I mean, obviously, as you mentioned, the HLC, we've had a lot of information come out about that.
But before we move on to HLC, because we'll get into that, how do you feel about the current crossover with UVS?
The what now? Oh, the tea thing.
The Boba Tea sweepstakes where you can get star credit as well as starter decks and Jetburn boxes for taking part in for 25 winners within their sweepstakes.
I mean, it won't be available to UK
It
residents.
is not. I checked, and I even made comments going, "You're having a cross promotion with T, and you didn't invite the British. That is just disgraceful."
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it won't be available to us, right? I haven't checked their website or their stuff, but it won't be available. So
no, I mean, I should have secured a Godzilla. I ordered my stuff at 1 minute past 1, which is 1 minute past 9 their time. I think if 7,500 people had all made that order exactly at 9 a.m., the website would have crashed.
Yeah.
I ordered...
I don't think the play gets that busy. Even with a new Pokemon release, it's not going to get that busy.
I ordered 3 boxes of 7th Cross.
Okay.
Because I...
Rochester?
Yeah, because Rochester was doing the half a box of Heroes Clash, a class extra credit promo, which I've never had an extra credit promo that I've opened. I've always traded for them and been given them because they just never made it down here. So I was like, that sold me on it. I was looking through Rochester stuff. It's like they got some decent singles. They got some boxes there. I was like, it's not costing me anything. So I'm just gonna.
How are you getting it posted here? Don't they not post over to the
So they're going to Kyle.
Right, and you're going to pick him up at...
Yeah, so I put Kyle's address in there, and essentially this has been free for me because my partner's new dating sim story, Sharkbait, on Dorian. If people watching this play Dorian, go check it out. It's really cool. It's sharks having sex.
Right.
Won them lots of competitions.
I said each to their own. I'm not going to kink shame.
No, it's a humanized sharks. It's really cool. They put a lot of hard work into it, and the company and the fans love it. To the point where they won $100 gift card that could only be used within the US. So I was like, I'm having that. So it took a little bit of a swipe because they couldn't really spend it. Went on to TCG Player and bought 3 boxes of 7th Cross, and then boom. So it hasn't cost me a thing to hopefully get this Godzilla promo.
Sweet.
Bit cheeky. But I promised Kai, one of the DMS guys, I'll try and get him one from Florida because he's a massive Godzilla fan. But yeah, going back to the sweepstakes, I'm not a fan of these things that are only exclusive in one area.
Yeah, I mean, it's awkward, but like I get it. Like, obviously, it's much easier for them to partner with US-based companies, right? Because that's where they're based. It's much easier to have those relationships, and obviously, a lot of those will be just linked to US-only stuff because of legalities and tax reasons. And so,
it's one of the things.
It's disappointing that it's another thing we get left out of, right? And but I get it.
I've been saying it for about a year now. They need an OCE and they need an EU liaison, someone who can bring them these deals and can coordinate these deals and coordinate cons and coordinate these opportunities that they're missing out on because it's all centered around NA. And there was someone in the Discord when Andrew was talking about the HLC divides, who was saying that basically because Andrew pointed out that for the HLC, which we'll move on to in a second, that representation-wise, America, going off Nats to how many seats were given, we got just under 10% representation. I think it was about 8% for OCE, and then it was like 3.75% for NA because they had the 400 people that were in there. So they were workshopping like new ways to do it. But Andrew came up with a really fair one, quite a fair one that we brought back the point system rather than last chance qualifier, and actually ended up giving international and Europe one more seat. But there was someone else in there that was basically just going, NA deserves more seats. We deserve to have pretty much all the seats because we are the majority of the play base. And they couldn't seem to understand my point of, that's because you get all the support. We have one star in the...
If you do that, it's just going to kill any sort of vibe over here, right? Or in the OCE. Like, if you take away the carrot, then
if you go, there's only 4 seats for EU at HLC, you've all got to travel to England every single time you want to play, and we're not going to push for competitive organized play in any way, it's not going to come across as appealing to competitive players, and they're going to keep going over to other games, which is what's happened in mainland Europe. Before Nats last year, we didn't get Plus Ultra free, and a lot of players just went, it's not worth it. I'm not going up against players that got Plus Ultra free, and they all went back to other games, or they all went and it's something I've said to UVS a lot. I know it on a business sense, it's worse bringing in a new client than retaining an old client because it costs more to do it. But EU and Oceanic are untapped markets that we can grow to the same size. Spiel Essen, which is essentially like our version of Gen Con, gets two. Well, it's a UK Games Expo, which is like our version of Gen Con.
Like Essen is its own monster, right? It's more of a trade fair than a convention, right?
The trade fair Spiel Essen gets 230,000 guests every year, which is bigger than most cons that do anything else. When you look at Gen Con versus UK Games Expo, you're talking about a 10 to 20,000 difference in attendance, and given the size difference of the countries, that's huge.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm obviously, yeah. Like Spiel is different, but like, there's no reason why they shouldn't have demo booths at Spiel.
No.
Especially again, I've not been there. I've not been back for 10 years or something. But they certainly used to have like a separate big kind of anime comic section, like one room that was just devoted to sort of cosplay, anime, comics, that sort of stuff. So
UK Games Expo should definitely have one. MCM should definitely have one. MCM gets 100 to 150,000 participation, which is about the same size as most US cons of the same caliber. And then if we look at New York Comic Con, which UVS did go to in 2021, so in 2022, and in 2023 they had Crunchyroll partner with them to give out cards. That gets about 200,000 people attending every year. And if you look at Japan Expo, which is Europe's biggest anime sort of convention, you've then got that dwarfs New York Comic Con. It's got about 250,000 attendees every single year. It's possibly one of the biggest cons they have out there, and it's a missed opportunity not to get those anime fans in on this game. I've done this rant a lot of times, so we'll move on. But let's see, we've got someone in chat, Zane, Hilton Hotel at UK Games Expo, side events for TCG. Yeah, I took part in a Keyforge Vault Tour back in 2020 at UK Games Expo. Only UK Games Expo I've ever been to. I didn't even know it was a thing before that, and I went and took part in a Vault Tour there, and it was a really cool, chill event. I really do want to do more, but it had a lot of card tournaments going there as well as game testing and stuff. But it seems to fall on Asmodee to push that, because I know Asmodee have asked in the past for testers. But
yeah, I mean, they won't do anything, right? They're just rubbish.
Yeah,
so they need it like either to have almost like an EU office for Universus Games, right, and someone employed over here, or they need to partner with another company, whether that's like, okay, Patriot Games, can we like fling you some money to run this stuff at like
Asmodee definitely do so. But yeah, that as Rich was saying, you get that catch-22 situation of the community won't grow without support, but UVS won't UVS are reluctant to put a lot of money into the international communities until the player base is big enough for them to warrant the support. So it's kind of like catch-22 of, you need the players, but we can't get the players without the support. Because I know a lot of mainland EU stars...
like a build it and they all come kind of attitude, right? And just kind of, plug it at these big events, because that's where you're going to get the most eyesight on it. So, there aren't... obviously there's no kind of SCG con style things, like big card game conventions happening that I'm aware that are doing this sort of stuff.
There's London Card. There's London Trading Card Convention, but that's more of a second-hand market sort of thing where people are grading cards and trading cards. It's not an event sort of situation. You have got tabletop events like only tournaments that happen in London and stuff. But
like the biggest ones would be things like the Comic Cons and UK Games Expo would be the big ones.
UVS just need to build the rapport they lost with mainland Europe with Plus Ultra 3. A lot of players got bitten by that, and when going internationals when they were basically fighting people had these mechanically unique cards that they couldn't get hold of.
Yeah, the sort of people that went into last year's nationals with Plus Ultra 3 were definitely the worst.
Yeah,
I was one of them.
But I do feel bad because the German server I was in closed its doors to MHA. The French server is slowly moving away from MHA. It was great to see the Italian and Spanish people turn up for nationals. That was really cool.
I was probably to say that same thing. It was great to see those guys over there. I didn't interact with them too much, but I certainly played against a couple of their teams. They were really cool guys. I
loved them.
I hope they had a wonderful time.
They had the embroidered MHA logo on the shirt. They had the polo shirts. They had the star name on the back. They were really cool. I was rooting for one of them to get into the top cuts. But yeah, we know Philip's situation. He's in a place where he's trying to push his community to grow. But hopefully, with the big OP news, it will help us grow. But I don't want to dwell on this too much because it seems like every week at the minute I am just constantly going. It's because of the NA Nats. Seeing them have that massive event, 400 plus people, and I'm like, I want that here. I want constant events that are over 100 people. And as much as I love Sean and Patriot, I would also love to have events where we live, or up where the Dobbers are, or going out into mainland Europe.
Yeah,
and I know
just put an event in London, I'm sure there'll be plenty of people who will go. Because I'd imagine most of the guys up north would travel down for an RLE in London, right? So
yeah.
But anywho's, because obviously we've got a lot to cover today. So obviously the other big news was, as you can see on the screen, the Hero League Championship, which some lucky scrub gets to go to. They released obviously all the prizing and all the side events for it. I don't know if you are able to pull that up on screen.
Because of how many were, I can do the prizing, but I wanted to talk about what's coming up before the HLC because it interlocks with it.
Okay.
Because coming up on December 2nd and January 6th, we have new webcam events coming up where we're going to get the remainder promos that were of the Nationals design, which I might not be able to take part, but I'm probably just going to sign up and drop because I want these. I don't know how I feel about Cool and Tough being taken by Jiro.
I can't remember what Cool and Tough does, to be honest. I don't know if I've ever registered that card.
It's got a pretty cool deadlock effect. That's the only one I remember.
The only one of them I would like is the Giant Ice Wall because it's a card I play.
No, the Proud Time looks really cool. I like the Proud Time.
That's a card you play, right? In terms of the Nats promos, I just kind of got. I basically sacked off the Quick Create and the other one, the Achaka one, and just tried to get all the ones I wanted.
I'm disappointed that it's Giant Ice Wall, if I'm perfectly honest, because it's rotating out. I would have much rather seen this be a Freezer Burn or a Frozen Slash or one of the new attacks. Something that is going to see more play.
Yeah, I get it though. It would have been nice to see an Ice Storm actually rather than a Giant Ice Wall, just because,
I don't think it could be Ice Storm because of the way that the wording was.
What? What do you mean?
So because we already had Hard and Jab, and the number was before Hard and Jab, we couldn't have Ice Storm because it would be below hard and jab because it's Alphabet Explorer.
I mean, okay, it wasn't ever going to, but I would have liked to.
Yeah.
But I guess part of it is just rarity. They didn't. So I don't think any of these are ultra rares, right?
Giant Ice Wall's ultra rare, isn't it?
No, it's a rare. Giant Ice Wall's just a rare.
Ooh.
And then Frigid and Ice Storm are the ultras.
Oh, okay. No, I think these are all just rares, yeah.
Because it was like Indiscriminate, that's a rare. Back Alley, that's a rare. Tongue Whip, that's a
promo
DLC card. But yeah. But yeah, I'd like 4 Giant Ice Walls. I still only have 3 Giant Ice Walls because Brandon still got my 4th.
I apologise, but yeah, that's my fault. The Ball Mite player needed it, and I talked Richard into. I only had one on me, so I talked Richard into giving him the second one because he needs to do deck check. But the person that he borrowed the Ice Storms off had left, so he needed them, or he was going to fail his deck check and not be in top cuts. Like, no, we can't. We need Ball Mite in the top cuts. Damn it.
Yeah,
but
that's fine.
So these are very cool webcam events that we take. Registration opens up on the 8th of November, and we're hopefully going to be getting some times. Hopefully they'll be a little bit more international friendly because of the prizing. Top performing players of each of these events will earn travel vouchers for the HLC. This is basically, it's rumoured because of how it worked last year that you'll get a $1,000 travel voucher to help you get out to the HLC. Don't quote me on that. That is not official word in any way whatsoever. This is just what I've heard down the rumour mill, that the travel voucher is up to $1,000. But it's basically money. It's basically to help people get to the HLC. And if international players can get hold of this will be huge.
Yeah. So obviously, it doesn't give you your entry to the HLC, but it does let you obviously play in the last chance qualifiers and side events and just be part of the celebration, like the event, which is really cool. I assume this is just a winner thing. I don't know if it was actually confirmed.
It just says top performing players from each event. It does not say winners.
Yeah.
So
again, on the 8th, we'll find out more details. So I'm sure next week we'll go into more details on these. Yeah. Obviously, there's 2 of these events. I expect one of them just to be at straight US time. I would hope one of them would then be at a more EU/OCE friendly time. Obviously, OCE friendly time is probably about as EU unfriendly as possible. But yeah, I'd hope one of them would be at EU friendly time, which I'm hoping is a January one because on the 2nd of December we've got a winner box down our end.
I've already informed Brandon that it clashes and he's a bit upset about it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they can't do a lot about that.
Yeah, I found out this week I'm not going to be able to make that because Robin is in London for MegaCon, so I won't be able to get down for that, which really sucks because that was one of the things I was planning to practice my HLC decks at.
Yeah, but I guess now you could just sit at home and play this event, right?
Not with Flynn. You
don't need to win, so you can just play it and have fun. And if you need to drop around because Flynn's kicking off,
I'm probably going to sign up just for the promos and play a couple and just play a few rounds and see how my deck goes.
We'll go into more details of these probably next week after you've got one.
Because we don't even know the format yet to see if Godzilla will be legal because that would be really cool.
It'll be Spotlight, so it's
of course it'll be Spotlight. Yeah. I don't know why they had to specifically say Godzilla wasn't HLC legal when it was a Spotlight event.
Yeah. Those events are cool. Again, it's good that we have competitive events with things on the line during this dead period. They've sort of learned from it, and their webcam, so it means people aren't to have travel and spend loads of money over Christmas time. Great, people can do it from comfort and home. It's a win-win. I don't see any downsides to these events at all. Obviously, we're going to complain if there isn't one at EU time, but it still means these are good things.
Then we've got the last chance qualifiers and the side events for the HLC. So we'll get, for me, the coolest.
Go through all of them, right? If you want to see more details of these, obviously go to the UVSK website.
We'll just quickly touch on the ones that are going to be. For me, the coolest one on here is the triple threat. because it's a new format which is multiplayer.
Very soon in chat, I wanted to suggest we try running locally. I don't know if you would know what triple threat is. To my understanding, the way it works is you have 3 people in a match, and you're all attacking each other, and it's first one to go down. But you can block and interact for other people.
Yes. So if I'm playing, if it's me, you, and player X, player X is attacking you, but I don't want you to die yet, or you're going down the commander logic of I want you to owe me in commander politics. I can go. I'll block this attack that's coming at Richard.
Yeah, and then, but also if player X defeats me, player X wins, I lose, you don't get anything, right?
So no. So because of, I think it's basically, I'd have to double check, but I think because of the way they're running it, once you're out, it keeps going until there's one person left. So if player X takes out you, then I take out player X.
Okay.
I'd have to double check the actual triple threat rules, because there's also the triple threat champion belt, which is the player who eliminates the most people throughout the HLC gets a championship belt, and people are trying to find the most consistent way to knock the most people out because they want to get both people out.
Yeah,
and it's it's the Jiro card. I'm a hero too. Because
it's really cool.
Yeah, it just says that says you win the game, so you eliminate both people.
Okay.
Yeah. It's one of the things I want to probably touch on in a couple of weeks, like decks that we would want to build for triple threat, and mine would probably be Nezu or Jiro 2, just for those interactions with multiple players. But triple threat's cool. You can win colossal cards, the UVS deck box, which looks really cool. I didn't get a chance to get the picture. Exclusive playmats, and if you sign up before the 30th of November for Last Chance Qualifier, you will receive a special Universes t-shirt. We're not getting those. I looked at the pricing. The participants are not getting those. Unless they mean the jersey, which is fine.
No.
But if it's like the t-shirt, if it's like just a UVS t-shirt, like the water bottle we got last year, it's not on the HLC pricing, which makes me sad.
No, it won't be. But you're getting other stuff, so don't.
Oh yes, it's only a light complaint, but yes. So HLC price support. So before we go into the big things, we are getting Oh, where is it? We are getting 1 Universes branded bag, which will include 13 symbol stickers, class reunion dice pack, and a 1 box of Jetburn.
Is that a box of Jetburn in there, you say?
Yeah, it's a box. No, okay, so it's just 1 box of Jetburn, which is really cool. It's free. We're getting the Endeavor versus Hood playmat, which I have got an image of.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting the premium UVS deck box, which you get for signing up early. We're getting the Cowboy Bebop 25th anniversary playmat, which is really cool. That's one of the only things I've seen done it. The best in news for me, having no local play, automatic invite to next year's Nationals.
Yeah.
So I don't have to worry about Nationals all of next year, which lets me keep my streak, because I was the first person to get a Nationals invite this year, and I'm technically the first person to get a National invite again.
Did you lost in top 8, didn't you?
Top 4.
Then it would have been the first person to have lost in top 8 was technically the first qualifier, right? Or actually, no, it would have been the first player to win their top 16 match was technically then the first qualifier for Nationals next year.
It's timey-wimey because we didn't know at the time, so it'd be like you have to go back. But yeah, I'm going to say it all hit us at the same time because VIP dinner with UVS games again. The last year's dinner was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, maybe more waggy this time. Who knows?
Hopefully, we're getting another personalised jersey again. Which, if they're going to be the kind of HLC design that we've got on the promos, like this splash gold and brown art, I'm down for it. It looks really cool. I think on a jersey that'd be really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd imagine that's the kind of design because, like, last year, obviously the jerseys we got with that sort of blue, red, yellow design was also on all the promo material as well. So again, I imagine it's the same thing.
Yeah. So this is what we had last time, and it was kind of like the primary way they did it.
Right. So, yeah, Zane in chat, aka Gary, is saying diversity development. They used to have diversity in the olden times, and it was toxic and horrible. And bringing diversity back is a terrible idea. And I think anyone that played in the olden times would agree.
Diversity was great the way they did it in Nats. Rewarding people with promos for playing diverse characters and doing well with them, or doing the best out of the character, is amazing. But if you look at how Nationals broke down, if you had Zane and James, and you went, oh, James, you don't get to play in Top Cut because Zane also qualified and he's higher seeding you. That is heartbreaking.
It leads to different deck choices, right? If you've got diversity, but I just think it's a terrible idea, and I never want it in in a sort of a way.
Yeah, if Matthew, Kyle, Reese, any of the other overhaul players in the EU didn't get to play because Nathan was the highest ranked overhaul, that would absolutely change the dynamic of our Top Cut.
Yeah, it would change it. I just don't like it as a rule for that. I think it should be a case of just bring your best deck and do the best you can.
It puts too much pressure on
you. If you want to effectively make diversity because something's overpowered, then you ban or tweak stuff that way. I don't think you do it by forced crowbar diversity in that way. I think that's a bad idea.
It literally punishes you for playing the meta, and it adds undue pressure to an event that was already piling on a lot of pressure to people.
Yeah, and it leads to sort of more toxic behaviour when you're looking at you're literally competing with very specific people, right? And I think that's led to toxic shit in the past.
Moving on to the actual HLC stuff.
Yeah, so obviously no cash. No one expected cash realistically if they were being sensible. Because obviously the parent company, the parent owner of My Hero is Japanese. Japanese treat cash at these sort of prizes as gambling. They're very anti-gambling. It was never going to happen.
So the biggest thing for me is double elimination. This is huge.
Yeah. It was surprising actually. I expected like day one draft, day two constructed, but double elim. Sure, you get to, it might be there are going to be people that are going to play 2 matches and that's their tournament over, right? But they still get to play side events.
There's going to be 16 people that have that experience, and it's going to suck.
Probably 16, right, with double elim. I don't think. I think there's 8 that would happen too, maybe.
Oh, you're talking 8 to 16 because if 16 people lose. And then those 16 people lose again. That would be.
Yeah, but like 8 of those will play each other, right? So it's. We don't need to go into the maths of it, but there are going to be people that play 2 matches, and that's their HLC over.
And it's going to suck, but it gives them more. It gives them more time to just enjoy the HLC. And I really don't want to be one of those people.
No.
It really does kind of suck to think you're going to go out for 2 days, you're going to play 2 games, and then you're just going to have to sit and watch everybody else playing. The on-time round bits is cool, and I think it's going to lead to some very interesting deck choices out of the go. But
welcome to the chat, EA Rejects, which would be JP, I believe.
Yeah.
So that's it. Yeah, 16 lose, then they'll play each other, and then 8 should be done.
Okay.
So there'll be 8 people that will play 2 matches, and that's their HLC over, right? And then there'll be some that'll play 3, and some.
That's just it.
Honestly, 60, 17th to 32nd, it's not great. right?
Yeah.
You get what, Matt and an Ochako.
So you get all the stuff mentioned before, and you get the Ochako promo and the Ochako playmat, and that is it. That is your day done.
Yeah.
Which,
but also like it's free real estate, right? You're getting flown out, you're getting accommodation. Sure. And I think you can't necessarily sort of look at it last year, right? Last year was an aberration isn't necessarily the word, but like it was an outlier. Like it was never going to be that again. So, like,
after how much we complained about day one, feel like it didn't matter because all it did was set up seating.
Yeah.
And I mean, I had a hell of a day one, and then day two, I just got crushed by JJ. But then again, I was still playing Dabby, and that was probably my biggest mistake. I should have brought going first into the HLC as 15. I should have brought a real deck.
But like, it depends whether like people whether there is demand for these promos, right? Whether people want them, because they might hold value, right? So you might be able to sell an Ochako promo for like 500 quid, 1,000 quid, who knows?
Yeah, these promos are cool. For me, it's so when you get to top 16, because you now get the accumulation, which is my biggest complaint from the leaked article, was you don't get you didn't accumulate promos. So for me it would have been like get to top 8, get Hawks, drop. Now you accumulate. So as you keep going, so when you get to top 16, you get Shoto Todoroki promo, which is next to Ochako. You get Ochako, you get the Shoto playmat, and you get the serialized top 16 Dabby Chrome.
Yeah.
Which is mad that they put it as 1 of 100 when you've now got the 0 and you've got the top 16 Chromes.
Yeah, so these obviously are Chromes that are only available from this event, right?
No, these are the Jetburn Chromes that are stamped with the top 8 stuff.
Are they?
Yeah. These are the Jetburn Chromes. These are the Chromes that you can pull in Jetburn, but rather than being serialized with 1 to 100 on them, they're serialized with your position of finish. So top 16 gets Dabby, then you move to top 8 where you get the Hawks promo, you get the Hawks Chrome, and then of course you get the Shoto and Ochako. So you get double Hawks for top 8. Top 4 you get the Endeavor Chrome and the Endeavor promo, as well as all the additional promos beforehand. Finalist gets Bakugo, Endeavor, Hawks, Shoto, Ochako, and the Bakugo Chrome. And then the champion
gets Wannabe.
The champion serialized Chrome, so 1 each of the 5 Chromes with champion on them. A Universe's champion trophy. A big middle finger to Kevin Broberg as you get an invite to next year's Worlds.
He got 125 grand. I'm not sure.
I know, but I did say so he could cry into his however much he got after tax.
Yes, he can wipe his tears with his dollar bills, you know.
But it's still a bit of an annoyance that he's not gonna be at Chrome's to Worlds to defend his title. He's gonna go in through the last chance qualifiers. An invitation to design a custom UVS card with the team, and it has been confirmed that it is going to be a character card. I know it's been worded vaguely. It might be the option that you don't have to do that. If you don't want to, you can make an asset, a foundation, an action, but it's been said that you can be immortalized as a character if you want. And anyone who won a championship before UVS took over but didn't get a card, maybe they're going to reach back out to them. So I think JJ won UK Nationals when they were in the middle of the transfer. So JJ might get a character card as well. I don't know if Broberg will get one for last year. Probably not.
But yeah, it's cool. Like, obviously, it's a really cool prize. A lot of people will be like, but like, actually, just immortalizing yourself in a game is a really sweet prize. So, like, I'm really glad they brought that back. And yeah, like, it is what it is, and you just sort of got to hope that there's value to these promos if people want to get raw cash.
I have already warned them that if I win, which it's not going to happen, but if I win, my character is going to be a Dabby Heidi reprint, which is just going to be like, if you If you deal damage, get a Dabby character card from your discard or deck, build it, and if you have one copy of each legal Dabby for the format in play, you win the game.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, we'll obviously worry about that later, but
yeah.
like...
We'll worry about that when it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I want one win. They cannot put a Dabby Chrome in there and then have me not walk away with one. That is disgraceful.
Yeah. You know, you're going to be so disappointed if you lose in top 4.
I am... Go on, I'll let you finish.
Like, obviously, you know, you lose in top 16, you're unhappy, but you get a Dabby Chrome, you're happy. You lose in top 8, you get a Hawks, right? And obviously, Hawks will be cool. Endeavour, you're like, eh.
I did.
The back one probably the worst one because you were so close to getting one of each.
I think that's just it. I was talking to someone who's like, top 16 I get Dabby, that's fine. Top 8 I get Hawks, that is also fine. And I might be able to even like get the Dabby from one of the top 16 people as well. But after that, it's win it all or cry because I missed out on the Hawks and the Dabby.
Yeah.
Because I don't want an Endeavour, I definitely don't want a Bakugo. Couldn't care less about Deku. It is all about the Hot Wings.
Mm-hmm.
So all I want for this February is one win. Just one win. Get me to top 16 and I will be happy. Just let me walk away with the Dabby.
One win might not be enough in double Elim, right, to get into top 16.
Yeah, one win gets you top 16.
Not in double Elim necessarily. Like, if you lose and then win, you might not necessarily then come top 16. Or if
I win my first one
and then lose, you could be bottom 16 because it's double Elim. It doesn't work out quite that way. Like, because it's double Elim, just win and win. If you go win, lose, you're probably not top 16. You're probably going to be like 17th to 20th, something like that.
Oh, that's annoying. I thought I just need to secure the one win.
No, not in double Elim. I think you might need 2. Again, I don't know the maths, and it probably depends when you lose, stuff like that. But yeah. Anywho's, that's world prizing. That's cool. If you want to see go onto the site, and it's all on there, right? But we should probably get to our main topic for the evening.
Yeah, so for today we're going to be talking about the upcoming pre-release.
Yes. So obviously we've got pre-releases starting on next Friday, I think is the first legal day you can host them.
The 10th.
For Jetburn. As usual, 6 boosters, no symbols. Symbols are irrelevant. You can play any character you open your pool, and you can, and that includes whatever your XR/alternate art character is.
Yeah, like we saw Andrew open an Amajiki on stream a couple of days ago, which seems like a very powerful character.
Yeah. So there are some rule differences. So it's a 40 card minimum. When you cycle, you only cycle out 5 cards. Those are the only differences I can think of, right? It's just cycle 5, 40 cards, and no symbol restrictions whatsoever. So you don't have
no deck building limitations. So if you open 6 copies of a single attack, you can play all 6 copies of that single attack.
Yes, absolutely.
That's
because it is sealed, and obviously, you know, draft is different. I don't know enough about draft to really go into it, but we'll just sort of talk from a sealed perspective.
Did you want to go for the characters or just go straight to the picks?
No, we'll go through characters first, I think. So the first thing to do is look at what character you get in your pool. So you should have 7 at minimum, right, in your pool. The 6 your extra. You might get like an extra alternate art in your pool. I think if you get an XR character in your pool, then it will replace the normal one. So I don't think you get an extra from that way, unless it's maybe an Achako or a Toga. I don't know, but you're going to have like 7, possibly 8 characters in your pool to choose from. So this set, a lot of the characters are very kit dependent, right? So something like a Bakugo or a Deku, they're very reliant on having the bits of their kit that do the thing they want to do. Like Ryukyu, very powerful character, but if you don't open many blank attacks or anything, she doesn't really do a lot. So that's probably one of the first things to bear in mind is when you look at the characters, the ones that are more generically just do stuff / add stats are going to be better than like kit dependent characters. However, you might open enough in your pool to do it. So I guess we can start with Ryukyu. She's on screen.
We're going to start with best genist because you were just talking about it, but we can start with best genist.
Okay, yeah.
That's the first one.
Okay. So best genist doesn't necessarily look great from a seal perspective. He's going to be fine. You just want a reasonable amount of ranged cards to do the drawing a card, but most of his stuff works with anything. You just want ranged attacks, right? And there's actually a decent amount of ranged attacks in this set. So best genius is probably okay. He's not particularly other than having ranged attacks. I don't think he's necessarily very kit dependent.
It's not the character I'd be windmill slamming, going, "This is who I'm playing." He's got good defensive opportunities because you can discard a card to clog the card pool, and then your second attack. The second attack this turn, so he's got some defensive, and you get to draw a card if you've got a ranged card pool. But like I said, it's kit dependent. You have to open a ranged, which there are a fair decent amount.
Yes, again, like as long as you've got a range, you get to draw a card. But the drawing the card, he adds stats, but he doesn't add lots of stats onto stuff. I think he's probably going to be a middling to low pick from a character perspective for me.
If my pool supports him, I'll play him. But if I've got like an Asui or a character that's going to be better for sealed environment, then this is one definitely.
Yeah, I'm not going to rush towards best genius.
Yeah. Then we go to Dabby. Not
the kit dependent to me. Like you need him. You need cards that are making checks during attacks, right, to get the benefit of his speed. Obviously, got his top enhance, so you're at minimum getting +1 or -1 every attack, which is fine. Sure, you get the extra losing a health on when you hit with an attack, but again, it's not really exciting unless you're opening his kit. He's probably in that best genius character. You open some Dabby stuff, like he's going to be fine, but he's probably not going to be better than a lot of other options. Like just +1 and -1 speed isn't overly exciting. Like looking at the top card deck, okay, it's fine. But yeah, Dabby doesn't overly excite me from a sealed perspective. Like,
it's better than Dabby 2 was in sealed in League of Villains, of course. For me, I'd pick him over best genius over that because you get that additional damage and
also him being a 6/28, right? He's just got a bit more of a health buffer. Like the extra card doesn't necessarily count for too much
because you've got access to all attacks that you pull. If you can get some throws, if you can get some ways to, even if you get some low damage attacks in sealed, your opponent doesn't know what's going to be coming at them. So this one health which can kill does feel very important. The first windmill slam of the I'm playing this if I pull it would probably be Endeavour 3.
Yes, and this isn't because cycling's easier, right? It's just because he's got beefy stats, and he just puts free speed on everything. He's going to kill people, and then sometimes you're going to get to add an attack, and actually, he's get to form add an attack to his hand. And because you're only playing 40 cards, well, you don't have to play 40 cards, you play more, obviously, but, you're going to cycle very easily, and you're going to be putting +2, +3 on everything, and you're going to kill people.
That's it.
I think it can be one of your best options for sealed. irregardless of what other cards you open.
You are milling 10% of your deck each time, but you're
Yeah.
getting +2 speed, which can win your games. And once you've cycled, you're then getting the +3 damage. And because of the seal event, like you said, you can pick up an attack. You get to pick up any attack. If you pull a very strong, very deadly attack, and just be able to go, oh, I'm going to pick that up from my removed, and now that's my card to play.
Yeah, as long as you do it when you cycle or from another reason, right? So, but yeah, I think Endeavour's going to be strong. Certainly one of the better. You know, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say. I don't know who's going to be the best in sealed, but he's certainly going to be up there.
If I saw him in my first pack, I'm like, cool. At least I have one playable character. It'd be the one that I was like, okay, I'm happy to see Endeavour.
He's not kit dependent. Sure, having other mill helps get him to cycle and kill people, but like actually you don't necessarily need that in sealed. Just having the speed is good, and he's not keyword locked, right?
No.
You can play whatever you like in him.
Yeah.
So, good. Gentle, I guess, is up next.
Yep, Gentle's next.
Again, he's not keyword locked.
Nope.
If you can get some damage in your foundation or attack base, like he's going to be solid. I don't know how much people are going to be blocking stuff, and there's going to be a lot of back and forth. So I think
the one thing to remember about sealed is that's where you get a lot of your. I don't want to say. It's where you get your more casual, less experienced players who tend to try to block everything. They don't really see life as a resource; they see it as a lose condition. So you get those people that block everything, and that's who Gentle's going to punish. Especially in sealed when you've got access to all these big attacks.
I mean, he's just going to murder six-handers. Sorry, not six, the seven-handers.
Yes.
I think Gentle's certainly top half, right? At the very least. Like, again, he's not keyword locked. He's able to string. But the trouble is, like, he's really good at stringing, but you're not necessarily guaranteed to get good attacks to string with or card draw or the things that work.
You've got to remember that if you can pull some charge cards, Deku has common cards that you draw if you've got a charge in your card pool.
Yeah.
There are decent draw cards in the common and uncommon pool that will be great in sealed for these kind of characters.
Yeah, I think Gentle will be solid. I don't think he's going to be the tip of the top, but I think he'll be top half.
I think if you want to get into at least the top 4 of a decently sized sealed pre-release, he'll get you there. In a 8-person one, he may even get you the win.
Yeah,
because you've got all these attacks that people don't know where they're coming from. After that, we move on to Hawks. I really want Hawks to be good in sealed. But he has
unplayable. If you open 3 copies of Hawk's Feather, maybe 4 in your pool, and a Hawk's, then maybe I play
it's the Eraserheadish problem. You need the other cards to go with it, and in the 6 packs, you may, because it's a common, same as what with Endeavour in sealed.
If I've got 2 Hawk's Feather in my pool, I still don't want to play him. If I got 3 or 4, I'd consider him. But even then, I'm not racing for it, right? Like changing attack zone high, switching speed and damage, good in a constructed deck because you can build your card around that to make sure you've got enough high blocks. Like one of the things you're building your sealed deck is quite often your block zones are all over the stupid place, right?
Yeah.
So you might have not enough high blocks to make it a good thing. So.
Knowing you can block it or switch its speed and damage, and the ability to, if your opponent's playing a character that does increase speed like Endeavour, Hawks is a great counter for what Endeavour and Dabby are trying to do, especially in sealed.
Yeah, but it's just -1 speed. There's so many better options.
It's a direct counter for Dabby at least, because in sealed the chances are they're only going to be getting the 1, and then you go, okay, I'll counter that with my 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's not one I'd be happy to see unless I'd already opened a few Hawks photos.
Honestly, I think I'd almost rather play Dabby 3 over Hawks, unless I've got the pool for it, right? And if you open the Hawks pool, sure, but I think you're not going to play Hawks very often. Hood.
Yeah, who just looks so happy to be here.
Yeah, I think Hood will be a solid option. He's a five-hander. You might run into five-hand problems, but milling one for X damage, like you just sometimes need damage on stuff to kill people, right? Because their block zones all over the place, and blocking sometimes is quite hard.
Yeah.
You don't have necessarily like all the defensive pieces. And just he's got the defensive options on face, and just I'll flip a thing and hopefully get 3 to 4 damage.
Yeah, he's got draw on face. He's got stun on face, and you get to mill one and get additional damage. Which when you're not sealed, because he isn't throw locked either. So if you pull some throw attacks, you're going to be doing well.
I don't know. Are there many throws in this?
There's a few. There's a couple. But the biggest issue is
there's only 3.
It deters you from playing spam, which in sealed you don't really have a choice. If you open a lot of low cost foundations, HUD might not be doing anything.
Yeah, I think he'll be solid.
He'll definitely be decent. Yeah.
Yeah. I think in terms of the way these characters kind of pan out, I think Hood is like top half basically.
Yeah, HUD can definitely do some work.
Because then we get onto Deku 5. Like you need charge, kick, or punches, right? In fact, you need charges, or else like he doesn't really do much. And obviously, a lot of his stuff is about readying the foundations, and you want his stuff to go out. Again, I think if you open like a bunch of charge attacks, great. Midoriya is probably solid.
I mean, you've got 7 charge cards that are in the set. Only 2 of which are URs, and 1 of which is a foundation.
Well, you've got okay. So
I'm a hero 2. I won't back down. My hat is set. Tasty riff, dance routine, dramatic slash, velocity rush. Are all charges.
You got flash, fire fist, jetburn, gently theft, air force blast, air force flick. So there's actually and because I don't know if you're looking at symbols, right? You're just doing.
You don't need to look at. I don't. I think I just put charges, but you also get punches and kicks as well.
Yeah, like charge the one you want for the draw, but adding stats to punches and kicks is going to be fine.
There's only one. It looks like there's only one punch, which is foldable skew, which is a UR. But yeah, so there's 8 cards that Deku can pop off with. One of which is a foundation, and 1, 2, 3 of which look to be commons and uncommons.
Yeah. Again, I don't think he's going to be a high pick, right? I think he's you might open 4 lots of charges and get a Deku, and you're great. Otherwise, I think he's going.
Yeah, if you open a bunch of punches, especially if you open dance routine, knowing you can block with dance routine and then get to draw an extra card, it seems really cool.
No, because it's charge attack in your card.
Oh, it's charge attack in your card. Yeah, I was my mind.
So yeah, I think Deku's again call dependent. I think if you open hit charges, kicks and punches, majority being charges, he might be solid, and there are plenty of Deku's kit that let him do the thing. Right? And the same, I think Bakugo is probably a bit better on face.
I think the Bakugo enhance is what makes the difference. Being able to play progressive and being able to discard with no keyword lock.
Yes, that's the thing. Like discard, I think is going to be very good in sealed because your opponent's not going to know what attacks you're throwing in what zone. So if they've got 2 cards in hand, it's like what zone do I discard if I block? So I think that'll be solid. Again, I'm not excited, and unless I get a reasonable amount of fury stuff and stuff that means I can trigger my own abilities, i.e. Bakugo's kit. Then I'm not really racing towards Bakugo. He doesn't excite me from that perspective. Like the top ability is good. He's got 30 health, which is really solid for a 6-hander.
But you need the
kit probably again slightly below middling for me.
Yeah, it all depends on the kit because the response is great, the control aspect is great, but it's subpar compared to what other characters are able to do.
Yeah. Jiro. So let's ignore the applesauce counters, right? if the attack speed is 4 great, it gets -2 speed or seal and ready 1 foundation. It's going to be hit or miss.
It's two conditional.
You're going to need a lot of base 4 speed attacks in your pool for me to want to do that. And obviously, you know, it's sort of speed hate on face, but you're a 7/19er, and if you're not doing anything with the apple counters, like, what are you doing? Again, I'd rather play a lot of these characters over Jiro.
There are 9 cards of a base speed of 4.
Like, someone's going to open Jiro and the win condition and try and do it.
Yeah.
Right?
If you open Jiro and the win condition, you have to do it.
That is trying to do that. I applaud you, pun intended.
I'm fully expecting at least one person to show up to the HLC with Jiro and the win condition.
But again, I'm not racing towards Jiro from a sealed perspective. Even less so, Ryukyu. Like all of her stuff does nothing.
So kit dependent, yes.
Unless you've got, now there are plenty of blank attacks, but there's probably, unless you open the nuts Ryukyu pool, and I mean you want like 8 to 10 attacks that meet those conditions, right? Because it's not like. Yeah, neither response or enhanced does anything unless it's so like I'm not on Ryukyu at all.
What rarity is her foundation?
I don't know.
She has the foundation that has no keywords. If you open a couple of those, you could be sitting pretty.
Yeah.
But it's quite to see.
Shoto, again, not looking exciting from a seal perspective. That pun wasn't intended. How are we looking at ranged in the set? I think there are plenty of ranged attacks, right?
Yeah, there's a load because Deku's added a fair whack.
So again, we're going to be able to do the thing, and actually, I'm just still thinking it through. I think Shote's better than I initially gave him credit for.
It's because there's a lot of ways to seal cards on the symbols as well.
So ignore that, right? You just flat get to give everything +1/+1.
Yeah,
that's going to be solid enough in sealed. Like, there's a reason like Ojiro was the best one to play in like Heroes Clash pre-release, right? Because he just gave raw stats, and raw stats are generally king in sealed, right? Because you're very rarely going to get synergies and stuff like that in a randomized card pool. So just being able to give all of your attacks +1/+1, and it doesn't matter. You only need ranged for the response, right? The bottom it doesn't care about the attack type. It's just +1 speed, +1 damage, and anything. So, and there are you get a couple of his foundations, which I think are at common and uncommon. At least some of them, right? I think at least one of them is. Like failed role model is the flip mill one for seal foundation. That's an uncommon. A couple of his are at rare. Yeah, and then he's got like so his attacks I think are at rare as well, the good ones. So provisional pursuit, that's a rare. So but I think just being able to give +1/+1 and sometimes being out, and just sort of building up for a kill string where it's like, okay, I can get my second sealed one this turn, so everything's getting +2/+2. I think is going to be good enough. So again, I think Shoto probably just by a stint of everything gets +1/+1, and I get to seal your best bit, which is not going to be, which is going to be a good card because you're not going to get too many of them. I think is going to be a top half for me. And there being plenty of range in this set to sort of choose from and use with his response.
Yeah, it's just the pure stats on face. Shoto is going to be really good, and especially if you've opened middle of the pack cards. JCS agrees that there's going to be people bringing Jiro to HLC more than one.
It's very different, right? We're just looking at it from a.
After the Kurogiri swarm of 2022, I expect people to be bringing all sorts. Then we got Asuri 3. I am all in. Yeah, this is what I would definitely be picking for sealed.
Yeah, Ashley 3, I think, is up there almost with Endeavour in terms of how good she can be. Because if you look, like, all of those things, none of them are keyword locked, right? Just commit, draw, after attacker's block, ready this card, and then discard a card, discard attack for your card. But again,
It's
all
also
very, very
1 damage to everything, which is great.
Yeah, exactly. So it's stats, it's card draw, it's card pull clear. Yeah.
It goes, yeah.
And none of that stuff, like other cards that work with her, like her kit, are going to be good, but you don't need.
They're not necessary,
She's
exactly. And it's also that do you take my first attack and mean I can and make sure I can't give damage buffs to everything else, or is this my only attack and then I'm building? You don't know.
Yeah. So like, yeah, she's gonna be good, but again, she's top.
Yeah.
Top up there with Endeavour for me.
I seriously need to test her out as a HLC candidate because
in terms of construction, I think she's certainly one of the best ones in the set. So yeah.
Yeah. This is probably what I'm going to be doing this week is starting to build my HLC decks because it's going to be cool.
Cammy. Again, let's have a look at the amount of taunt cards actually in the set. I don't think it's actually many.
No, it's more.
There's 14. Actually, there's 14? More than I think.
Damn.
Yeah, a lot of back has taunt. So actually, she sort of benefits from not being symbol.
I think the biggest thing for sealed is being able to turn anything into a throw.
Yes. That is very strong, and if you get at least a few taunt cards, I think Cammy will actually be quite a reasonable selection. Actually, there's more than I gave it credit for. Like if you can get maybe 3 or 4 even in your pool, and like looking at it, we've got common, uncommon, 3.
Now
4, 5,
I need to know how this.
There's 6 at the common and uncommon slot with taunt. So actually, I think she's So there's 3 common and there's a few uncommon.
This to me, I need to know how this works against Mount Lady.
What do you mean?
So if Mount Lady, this is a question I've brought up a few times that I want to know how unblockable works. Does it skip the block step? Does it say you just don't get to do anything in the block step, or does it say you cannot attempt to block this card? Because Camui's ability says discard 1 target card before the block step. Your rival's attack reduces its damage to 0. But if the attack is unblockable and you skip the block step, that ability shouldn't do anything.
Yeah, I don't know what the unblockable keyword actually does.
It's not a keyword. It's not. That's the thing. It's not a keyword, and that's and it's. I don't think I've been looking through cards. It's not defined as to what unblockable actually means. Jason said you can't get the condition of block, so Cammy should be able to work with it.
Yeah, that should be fine. I don't think you necessarily skip that step. It just says you can't block it. You can't attempt to.
Yeah.
So I think you get a couple of taunt cards, and just making everything a throw, like once per turn, like is very, very good. Because it just means you're getting damage in, and sometimes it can be hard. Seal games get into a bit of a grind because again, none of you are doing anything coherent necessarily. So. I think Cammy's going to be top half. I think she'll be solid.
Especially as that mind game of if you don't use the once per turn on your first attack, you're either like, okay, I'm going to take this one and I'm going to block whatever's coming next because there's clearly something you want.
Yeah.
To get in it. Like you said, block zones go fast and well, so you get partial block, and then if they go for the full block on something that you actually get to do, you go, nope, that's now actually just still a half block.
Yeah.
Then we have possibly one of the I guess it depends on what you actually pull with, but Headshot seems decent.
Yeah, Lord Raptor's going to be good, right? Because, again, there's no keyword blocking here. He's a 719er. He gets to build harder than anyone else, certainly on turn 1, because he can just review an attack, and then build harder, because you're not going to have anywhere near as many spams as you are in sealed as you would do in constructed. And then you get free stats every turn effectively. And if you pull some of the Lurkers kit, and there's a lot of Lurkers kit, right?
Yes.
Between Edgeshot, Mount Lady, and Kamui Woods, there's a lot out there. So you're going to get a few of them. But even just, again, +1/+1 on all your attacks is going to be solid.
It just seems really cool because you review the attack on your first turn, and then this hand of 3 and 2 cost foundations you've got becomes a lot more playable.
Exactly. So yeah, I think Headshot's going to be good.
Yeah.
And again, you're just playing with the good stuff in your kit, and it doesn't matter about whether it's ranged, fury, punch, whatever. Then we get to Inasa. Inasa, I think, should be good, right? Again, none of his is reliant on a specific kit. A destroy to refresh one, very good. Just stringing out. Committing for speed and speed hate, very good. He does the sort of very basic things you want in a sealed deck, right? Just being able to have resources and being able to block or make your stuff hard.
So I like this because of the response. It does make it a little bit more annoying than what you get with Midnight and Bubble Girl, but be able to commit and just go, okay, you're I've got my Hood Foundation now. It's a 5 difficulty. Your attack is -5 speed.
Yeah, and there is a common flash attack, right? So you're going to see that, and he gets to interact with it.
Yeah, he gets to interact with flash, which is really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, there's only 2. One's an ultra rare, one's a common, but he does at least get to interact with it, right?
Be able to destroy Foundation and ready. Is refresh ready or just?
Yeah, it's effectively ready. Yeah. Ready one foundation, it's not been ready this combat phase. They've just sort of keyworded that sentence. So again, very solid on both offense and defense. I think Inasa is going to be, again, that a top half pick for me. He's going to be solid. Again, no keyword locking. He can just play all the good ones, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's just it, because the abilities work together here. Yeah. You commit a foundation, then you get to blow one up and ready another. So it makes blocking strings a lot easier.
Yeah.
Then we go on to
Kamui Woods 2-dot. So
if sealed was untimed, then hell yeah, I would be going all in on this guy. JP says there's 8 difficulty 2 foundations and a 0 difficulty 3 foundation at common.
Yeah. I mean, maybe the distribution of difficulties is a bit different. I haven't necessarily looked into that for this set like I maybe usually would.
So Kamui would be able to heal, keep healing, be able to review in your rival's turn. It seems really good because you can get rid of stuff that you need to get rid of too. And you've got the enhance, add 1 card from your discard pile to your card pool. It does not count towards progressive. It's not probably going to be great in sealed.
I don't think he's very good in sealed. He's just boring. He doesn't give stats. He just increases your health by 1. He doesn't do anything to help you win the game, right? Bottom enhance, he's only really working with the stuff he wants to do, and it's going to be very rare that actually comes up. So most of the time, that enhance is going to be blank. So you're playing with a 625, which is
like you said,
under stats, right?
But like you said, there's a lot of lurker stuff which gives you extra review, and your maximum health goes up when you review. So you start off as a 625, but
I do get how he works.
Yeah,
but he's very boring and doesn't help you win the game. He just kind of momentarily stops you losing.
Yeah, that's it. Right? So if it was untimed seal rounds, I'd be all in on this. But because of the time limit, you kind of get that recovery goal feeling of, I can't win this in sealed. I'm not gonna die, but I'm not gonna win.
I don't even think you do that, right? Again, the drip probably isn't anywhere near as high as you want it to do. I just don't think you should play Kamui Woods. I think unless like you get a really bad set of characters, I don't think you should play Kamui Woods. I just don't think he's going to be great.
Somewhere out there, Jose is shaking his fists.
I think the more important thing is the pre-releases are to have fun and jam new shit and have a laugh.
Yeah.
I don't think Kamui Woods is going to be very fun.
Depends on your definition of fun. Building a completely defensive Kamui Woods deck that my opponent doesn't get to hurt me and I get to try and get to 100 life seems like a lot of fun.
No, just get out.
If I was in an area like up north where I could attend 3 over the course of 3 days, on the Sunday I might be down for building a Kamui Woods deck.
Get out. Yeah, again, I think Kamuri's bottom half.
I've been hit by the control bug. Control is a hell of a drug.
Sure, he just gains life, but yeah, like he's not gonna be. Yeah, he'll be good in constructed because you can do things like bottom enhance, and it's not just blank. I think in sealed,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, JP. And honestly, I want to try and make Kamui Woods work as part of my HLC testing because untimed rounds Kamui seems like a lot of fun, but in sealed, I'd only do it if I was playing with like people I know really well, just for the laugh of I'm not going to die, but you're not going to get to win this event. Lol, 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 lol.
So then Mount Lady, again,
if you open lurker stuff and you can get to those 10 counters, you could do something nasty.
It doesn't matter, right? Getting to 3 is the important one in sealed for me, and that's easy, pretty easy. Like you're gonna rarely be dying on turn 2 in sealed, so you can get to 3. If
you win the dice roll and you're playing Mount Lady in sealed, do you go second, just to get that first counter?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe it depends, but I don't think so. Well, she's got plenty of health, right? She's got a big old booty on her. She's got 30 health, and like you get to 3 again, 3 damage and everything, and you're gonna kill some people. And then sometimes you might get up to the 10, but like. And again, there is plenty of lurkers support in this set. Like you're unlikely to open a pool without at least 2 or 3 lurkers cards in there, right?
And the fact that the multiples allow her to get multiples, like Titan Cliff and stuff, lets her get 3 rather than the 1 that the others get, is going to be very good. If you open a couple of those, you're sitting pretty.
Yeah. I think she'll be solid. She doesn't really do any defense on face, right? She just got a big booty.
She just gets hit and doesn't feel it.
But when adding 3 damage and everything is a good effect, right? So, you get to the 5, you get a stun on everything, and when you get to 10, you get to kill someone. Probably, maybe, like you don't necessarily have like your 1.3 million something unblockable in sealed, right? So, I think ignore the magical Christmas land at the 10. And think about, I just need to get to 3, and then kill someone. Like for me, and I think she's going to be solid from that perspective in sealed. Not exciting, but she'll be solid. And I'd certainly rather play that than Kamui Woods because I can actually kill someone.
Give me 1 second, because I moved your pictures to a different thing, and then it decided to shout at me for doing that. So 1 second. Okay. Because you've got your picks, and then I got some picks myself.
Yeah, so that's like, I guess, mine and our thoughts on the characters from a sealed perspective.
And then I've asked Richard to. She's my sneaky pick for sealed. Just don't know how many commons get. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I had sealed around here, that would probably be what I was going for.
Yeah, just again +3 damage. Everything's very good. Like the ones I'd be looking at would be Endeavor. Possibly Hood, like maybe Sue, certainly Edge Shot, Inasa, Cammy, maybe Mount Lady. Like those are the ones I'm looking for. The other ones are just a bit.
So for the sealed environment, we both picked some cards that we're going to be looking at. Picking up for sealed if and when we play. Richard went with some very interesting choices. I went with a bit more memey choices.
Okay. So mainly pulled out attacks because foundations, like a lot of them are very. I do a thing for my kit, right? And quite often you're just playing foundations just as things you can commit to pass checks, and you're just trying to get a good curve and good block zones, everything on that. So obviously it depends on what you kit, but I just wanted to pull out some of these commons, uncommons as stuff that I think you're probably going to play almost always in sealed pools. So the first one is the one with Grandad's face on it. Is it Velocity Rush?
On the screen, the first one is Viral Cosmos that I've got up.
Okay. Well, I was going to go through because there's like the set of the kids attacks, right?
We can do Velocity Rush. That's the common Echo attack.
Yeah. It's going to be very good. It's off zone. It's a 4-diff, good statted 4 high 4.
And does some if blocked or not blocked.
Yeah, it's got some relevant text on it, but it's got echo, right? And it's just 2 attacks in one, which is going to be so very good at sealed. And you play as many copies of this as you can in your set, in your pool, right? Like you want to open as many of these as you can, and you play every single one. Yeah, it's just going to be very, very good. It's got a nice 2 mid block on it, even as well. Like it's just going to be so good. The next one is Canyon Cannon, which I think is probably going to make waves in constructed as well. Again, it's a 5-diff, but it's a 5 high for 3. And because you're playing with any old nonsense, you're going to be stacking a whole bunch of damage on that from Canyon Cannon. So like it's going to be a 5 high for 7, 8 maybe.
Yeah.
Like
it's got decent speed on it as printed.
Yeah, it's going to be a very solid attack. He's going to be very good in sealed, I think. So again, you try and play as many of them as you can.
Because I think the maximum it could possibly hit would be it could hit higher because there are cards that have got multiple symbols, but I think they're in the plus ultra.
Well, there's one. It's the T, isn't it? That's got 4
Yes,
symbols.
So I think the maximum this can hit is 10.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is a 5/10 for 5 is really good.
Well, yes. But like even if you're getting it to 6 or 7 damage, it's still like a 5 high for 6 or 7, just a very good chonker stats. Like it's again that's sort of what you just kill people in silver stats more than anything else.
Yeah.
And that's why I pulled out all of the sort of kiddie attacks. So Viral Cosmos, Tongue Tank, Queen Beam, Assault Dust, Hula Hoop, Bullets, Binging Balls. Sure, they've all got like the downside, right? So both players draw. You can't play more attacks, but then it gets a bunch of stuff. You flip the attack after it resolves. Just really like again, Assault Dust is going to be really, really good. It's a 5 high for 5 with a 4-diff with a 2 high block. Flip it after it resolves. Who cares? I've hit you with a 5 high for 5 for 4. Like I'm not comboing because it's sealed. Yeah, I don't get momentum off it, but like again, I've just smacked you for 5. Who cares? Binging Balls losing 2 health to get a 4 high for 7. Sure. Like I think some of these might make a tiny splash constructed, like Assault Dust, obviously, like Mina 2 or whatever. But these ones with drawbacks, I think, are primarily there for limited play and like niche. Constructed
that's
play.
fair, JP. JP saying all the low attacks would. Yeah, a lot of people underestimate low attacks.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, all of these are going to be very playable and very good. So I think you should probably play all of the kiddie attacks you open. Like unless you're having to sort of find cuts or block zones and stuff, because yeah. I just did a quick search myself, JP. There's only 28 cards with a low block at common and uncommons.
Damn.
And that's always a thing, right? Off zone, it's always better in limited, right? Because people don't have correct block zones. They're not going to have like a nice sort of distribution. So off zone always goes better. And you look at these. stuff like Hung Tank, Assault Dust, Bigging Balls, Cannon, Nectar Anvil, Velocity Rush, they're all off zone, so you're always going to be golden with those. But yeah, I think you should just play all of these. The other one, they did mention another one, but I don't know if that was on your list as well.
Which was that?
Hell Spider.
Yeah, Flashfire Hell Spider is on my list as well, which I'll just go to now.
Okay, cool.
So I had a couple of URs to mine because you may pull them. It's unlikely. So
yeah,
first one, Airy Smiles, which is just a learning the standards.
I
flip.
I think Airy Smiles is going to be very solid, right? Like it's a learning the standards. It's a high block. I think the bottom enhance is mostly blank. You're playing it for a learning the standards hand trap. I don't think it's as valuable in limited as it's constructed. It's going to be good, right? It's going to be just stop attacking me and pass the turn. But certainly a card that I think is going to see a lot of play constructed.
I think you chuck this out as your first block and just be like, flip one foundation, you must play a non-attack. It's not as good as Learn Talent where you can do it later on in a string because it gets a bit hard. But yeah, I can. If I pull this, it would probably be going into my seal deck no matter what.
Yeah. I think you can play it, right? It's just, but people just aren't necessarily stringing as hard in limited.
Then we have the meme, which is the unkillable deck with Pro Hero Rankings. So Pro Hero Rankings says that when you cycle, you choose up to 5 attacks that were removed due to cycling and shuffle them back into your deck. Because you're in sealed, you only cycle 5 cards, which means eventually you're going to end up in a situation where you only have attacks left in your deck. So you're only going to be checking freeze, but you can't lose to deck out because you're gonna cycle 5 attacks and you're gonna put those 5 attacks straight back into your deck.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever played a game of limited that came to cycling, but sure.
No, but it's a way to look at the Camry Woods deck. It's got Pro Hero Breaker as well. If you can get this down, your opponent goes, "I need to kill you because you're not going to die to mill out." And if you're playing, and if you are,
to be fair, it's a 1/5. It's a 1 mid block with a breaker. With a breaker that might
Pro Hero, yeah.
And also commit revealing hand. Like you can say 3 damage. That's not bad.
No, if I was playing Endeavor, I would definitely be wanting that.
Yeah.
If I was playing Endeavor 3 and I saw Pro Hero ranking, I'm like, excellent. I can now cycle and know that I'm going to be checking poorly, but I'm not going to be losing to my ability.
However, you need to be very careful using this card, right? Because you're revealing. It's not just reveal the foundations you want to reveal; it's reveal your entire hand. So, you get excited and just say, "I'll play my first attack and I'll reveal my hand," and it's like, "Right, you've only got 1 more attack in your hand. I've got a block for that zone, which means, and I don't care about that, which means I can actually sell out to block this one." It's like you just be very careful.
That's the big issue, and that's what I've come across when I've seen other people doing it. Unless you've got a way to then pitch your hand and redraw it, or you're giving away essentially your entire turn. Unless you're doing it on your last attack, which then could also be an issue. Then we got Hellflame Spider. Just mill 2, all of your attacks get +1 speed, and if you've cycled, all your attacks get +1 damage. It's a 4/6 for 4. It's that's just decent stats.
I think it's probably the second best common attack, with the Echo one being the first. Whatever it was called, God, brain blank. Literally the one we talked about 2 seconds ago, Velocity Rush. I think Velocity Rush is probably the best common attack. I think this one's going to be the second best. It's going to be a big player constructed, but yeah, it's just a 4 high for 6 that's adding a speed for the rest of your turn. It's got an off-zone block. It's going to be very good.
Velocity Rush, not Velocity Punch.
Yeah, Velocity Rush. That's the bad joke.
If you're playing Velocity Punch in Jetburn Sealed, I'm going to be calling a judge.
Yeah, I think Hell Spider is the second best. You could make an argument for it being the best. I think the Echo is the best one, and I think this will be a second.
So, This one for me, you're probably not going to agree with it, but Berserker Bite. The 2 high for free, 4 cost free check that has throw, which is really cool, but for me, it's the flip 1 foundation after you play this card. All cards get +1 difficulty this turn. If it's your turn, this card does not count towards progressive.
So twisting ashes, right? Both.
Yeah. If I play on my turn, essentially, it doesn't do anything. I flip 1 foundation, and it gives all my cards +1 difficulty, but it ignores from progressive, so it kind of cuts itself out. The idea behind this is defensively. You block the first attack with this and got all your cards now cost 1 more.
Yeah, so it's a permanent breaker 1 for the turn. It's also a throw. Throws are just good in limited.
Yeah.
Like, you've got any damage pump, you put it on this, it's going to be good. I think it's going to be a solid one. Like, I definitely would play any copies of this I opened.
Just for the throw, the defensive ability is just gravy.
This is an opener on like a turn when you're like looking to sort of throw 3 or 4 attacks. It's going to be a solid one, right? Just effectively giving +1 speed to everything.
So, Gustly Buffet, sorry.
Yeah. It's not a buffet. He's not eating snow. It's a buffet of wind.
Yeah, it's a buffet. 5-3. It's a 4 low for 2, as JP points out. We take all the lows, but if you have less foundations, you get -1 difficulty, which is cool. But you very rarely get a chance to go to deadlock in sealed, and if you launch this as your first attack, you get +1 damage for each of your ready foundations. So if you launch this as your first attack and check well, you can make this a 4-8, 4-9, 4-10 quite easily.
Yeah. And it's got a low block itself, so
it's a low block itself, which is really good. It's a low damage, which, as we said, not many people are going to have, and it peters out as a 4-12. It's
I guess where is the break point that you're happy with this card, right? Probably 406, and I'm happy with this card.
Yeah, that's so. Right. If you
over 5 diff, a 406, I'm like, that's fine.
Yeah. So if I go first, I build. If I build 4, my opponent then builds 5. I'm happy playing this on a 4. If I check a 3, cool, it's a 4-5. If I check a 5 or a 4, it comes in as a 4-6. I'm happy either way there.
Yeah. Again, it's going to be. I think there's aspirational kind of stats for this one, which I think rarely you're going to hit. You just need to think about, okay, what is the case? Where am I happy with this?
It goes back to what you're saying. You're not going to die turn 2 most in like 90% of the time in sealed, especially in Jetburn. So this just gets more powerful as you go on. However, it does deter yourself from going into deadlock.
Yeah.
But if you can get an Asa, then you don't need to worry about that either. Then I added a few foundations in. One of which, Ultra Regeneration. It's a 6 check, which seems decent in sealed anyway. It's a low block. It's a 4 cost foundation, which isn't great. But Tenacious, after you take 5 more damage, draw 2 cards and gain 2 health. And in Tenacious Enhance, if you've got no ready foundations, add 1 card from your discard pile to your hand.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about this card, with it being a 4 diff.
I mean, in Lord Raptor, if you review an attack, that's a 3 diff.
Sure. But I don't know. I mean, you'd probably play it if you got it, but not a card I would look out for particularly highly, if that makes sense. Like, I don't really want to take 5 damage, but sometimes you just do, and you get to draw 2 and gain 2. So,
it's the fact it's tenacious for me. So even if it's committed, I still get to gain that. So if I take 5, I'm only taking 3, and I get to draw 2.
Yeah. Again, it's just the 4 diff one that puts me off, right? So, but again, you've probably got more time to sort of have several, a second build turn if you need to. So
that's the big thing is you could if I launch 1 attack and then I play this on a 5, turn 2, I'm okay with that. it doesn't come down to character, but Ultra Regeneration is one I'm definitely looking at playing, even if it's just as a one-of in sealed. Then we got number 5 Pro Hero, Deadlock, which you need to have. Remove discard up to 5 cards from your card pool. So if you put this is a massive Deadlock threat, which basically is capture evildoers on crack. And then we've got the response flip after this attack resolves, flip it. Deals with echo attacks.
Well, it stops anything going to momentum, right? So the first thing it stops is combos. People aren't really going to be comboing in sealed. You don't need to worry about that from that perspective. It stops someone getting a momentum, which again, people aren't necessarily going to have momentum out. To me, this isn't a high pick or like something if I'm looking for cuts, I'd happily cut this card. But I also would be fine playing it's not zone block, Yeah.
It's one of the ones I'd be happy to sideboard out, but I'd want it in there. Like I said, there's echo cards that are in there. It's a response, so it helps deal with the flashing screen. And you never know, people might be going for might even have combo or plans doing it, and it also helps with if you pull Ryuk's UR, which you need a card that has for combo yourself. It's a nice utility card. It can do some stuff, and there are some cards that do want to still be in the card pool. They have card pool effects.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what you're going to be coming up with. If I see a Blue Flame Immolation, or if I see the card that can stay in the card pool that can do some work, flipping them seems really good. And then the last one for my picks, which is multitasking. I think it's a low block, which we've talked about. You want to pick those up. It's a 1 diff, and it just basically ready 1 rival foundation for +1 speed, +1 damage.
Yeah, so it's effectively just repeatable damage spam.
Yeah,
kind of, right? Unless they're not blocking, in which case, you're making it, you're giving them less speed and stuff. But
if they're not blocking, they're taking the damage anyway, so it's a win-win.
Yeah. So it's again solid. It's a 1. It's a low block. It's got plus damage on it. You're gonna play it.
Yeah, and because we're in seal, people are going to be running unsynergistic foundations. Me going here, have this foundation back that there's nothing in your deck for +1 speed, +1 damage. It seems really good to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are my picks. I think want to go all attacks. I thought there was some decent foundations that got overlooked.
Yeah. And I think just as a demo, just a little general overview. So just for sealed, obviously, I think in general I want to play 40 cards, right? We don't have a mill character in terms of whatever the hell his name was in the last set. Sonite Ice, right? Yeah. You don't have a Sonite Ice to worry about. And you're going to have rares and ultra rares in your kit, in your pool that you can and want to play. So for me, I want to play 40 cards so I can just see my better cards, right? So I think playing that 40 card deck is correct. You probably want to play something in the region of 16, 17 attacks, 23 foundations. I think that was around the number. Yeah. Maybe that wasn't.
There's only one situation where I'd be running more than 40 cards, would be if I open multiple 1-man Infernos.
I don't even remember what that card does.
It's a very... I'll pull up on the screen now because I can do. But it is a very simple card that just basically reads... get off it. Yep. Enhance, mill 1, your opponent mills 1. Non-unique.
Oh, okay. I didn't get him also. That's what it I think it was around 16 attacks was around the norm. You generally want to play a little bit more because again you don't have cold or you don't have synergies, so you want to play a little bit more attacks than you would necessarily, a bit more attack heavier than you would normally do.
But then you also have to take that into account when you're judging your checks, because there are 6 and 7 check attacks in this set.
Yeah.
So it's all about judging. It's about finding the point of diminishing return as to where your deck's going. If you've only got a 4 diff attacks, going for an 18 to 22 mix seems really good. But
I mean, 18 would be on the high end, right? Like, you're probably looking more around the 15, 16, maybe pushing it to 17. I'd be surprised if you want to push it to 18.
Yeah.
Because you're getting very close towards 50-50 then. I think like between say 14 and 16 is the sweet spot, depending on what you've got, right? But yeah, that's the sort of general principle of Sealed. Obviously, every set plays differently and every character plays differently. And yeah, just obviously we went through our characters, and I think it's just like, look for off-zone attacks, try and have your block zones as well as balance as you can do. Make sure you've got enough kind of low difficulty foundations that you can build and sort of be in the game.
Try to cover as many block zones as you can, but you got to remember your rivals are also going to be not running the same consistency they would in constructed.
And I think as always, going to be king, right? Speed and damage, that's what's going to kill your opponent. Yeah. So that's what you need to prioritize.
It's one of those things that you want to be aggressive. Anything that gives stats or has decent stats on face is going to be very good in sealed.
Yeah.
I think we can call it there, Alistair.
Yeah, it's been 2 hours.
Yeah, it's been 2 hours.
Thanks very much everyone in chat for joining us. Obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you very much. Click the like, subscribe, all those sort of buttons. They really help. Just see all our content and all the stuff we've got coming out. I know Brett's done a bunch of videos. I've done some videos. We should do some more at some point. Hopefully we've got some openings coming up sometime soon.
Hopefully we get the pack open soon. I need to come up with some ideas as to what to do for content this week, but it's so hard in the off season. And I think we'll be back on the same time next Sunday to do our set 6 tier list.
Yes, I've got my pre-release next Sunday, so it depends what time I get back.
Well, if not, we can do it on the Tuesday. We can do
I don't need to be that late, so it'll be fine. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and we will see you soon.
Yeah, we'll catch you all in a bit. Yeah. Have a great week. Bye.